Welcome back to Old Man Wisdom. Here as normal we look at the Euro USD and you've got in front of you the 1 hour chart. We're going to focus on price action Forex trading for the moment. So this is the chart exactly as I left it last week. So what we're going to quickly do is extend some of these areas and lines just to show you what I was hoping for last week and what has actually happened this week. Let's start by extending this down here and this channel up here. So what I was explaining about last week was that here is a liquidity area. So this rectangle here represents this week that we've just had. And of course, last week, you noticed that I mentioned we was in this channel and I wanted things to drop below or into this liquidity area down here. Now what actually happened was price went up a little bit further. It broke out of this channel. And what I found interesting was that what I didn't highlight last week was a liquidity area up here. Now, in theory, it spiked up and collected the pending orders up here before it dropped away. And what I was saying last week is that I want to see it spike below here to collect the pending orders down here. Now, if you'd have really had your wits about you last week, you might have took a sell right up here because this is exactly what I was talking about, but I was looking down here. The same principle applied. There's liquidity up here. This little spike collected the pending orders and pretty quickly dropped away. So that's what we're looking for still this week, or should I say for next week. We want it to spike a little bit lower. Now there's no reason why you couldn't take a buy right now, but I would just wait for the close of this candle here to see where exactly it finishes. I don't like to take a trade during a candle, but in the next 5 or 6 minutes this candle will close and there might be an opportunity to buy. If that's the case, well, you might have a 50 pip stop loss and you would be looking at roughly 100 pips of profit, which would be just above this area here. So it could be that this is exactly what I mentioned last week. I wanted to see some long wicks, and that's what we're seeing now. It doesn't mean that it's going to bounce up. If you notice, there has been some structure to the downside. It's broken this last high here. It's come back down. Now, technically speaking, it has made that lower low. But I like it when you see these nice long candles. It means that price is struggling to go lower. In an ideal world, I'd have liked this candle wick to have spiked a little bit lower down here, but that hasn't happened. Doesn't mean that it won't. Now, the other way to play it, if you wanted to play this buy opportunity really safe, is you see that there's a little bit of structure going on here. What you can do if you really want to play it safe is to wait for price to break out of this trend line here. If you really want to play it safe, in which case this won't break out of here. I wouldn't expect until next week. So for those of you who really want double, triple confirmation, then maybe this little trend line break will be what you're waiting for next week. For those of you who are a little bit more aggressive in your trading, you could possibly take a trade at the end of this candle when it closes in just a few minutes time, although by the time this video reaches you, there's a good chance that this candle will have already closed. Or you can wait for price to spike that little bit lower below this area here, below this candle down here, ideally below here. If you really want to make sure, you can wait for the candle to spike a bit lower and for price to break this trend line here. So there's lots of ways to play this trade, but we're looking for a buy opportunity on the Euro USD price action wise. When it comes to our indicator trading, what we wanted to see last week was price go up to this little zone here. Again, these lines and zones are exactly as they were last week. You'll notice that price did indeed go up to this area here. Let's just extend it across. So as we just mentioned in our price action analysis, price went above this zone and we was looking for it to drop away, but we wanted to get a nice sell signal from our MACD based indicator. Well, you'll be happy to know that's exactly what we did. And I said this could be the perfect setup. And indeed, in my mind, it absolutely was. Now, my stop loss would have gone just above this multi-time frame moving average up here, which means your stop loss would have been roughly 40 pips. So we were looking for a take profit of 80 pips, which was down here in this kind of little consolidation zone here. So this indicator painted on the 29th, which was Wednesday, and I took this trade. I mean, the drawdown was literally just a couple of pips. So to give you an idea, here was our 2-to-1 risk reward strategy. We got 80 pips, we was risking 40. There was little to zero drawdown. So yes, really lovely trade. So next week, what would we like to see? Well, unlike our price action analysis, really the analysis for our indicator, the 1 hour power, is very, very simple. Price remains below the multi-time frame moving average. And all the while price remains below this moving average, we only look to sell, which means we need price to go back up in order for the MACD to move up towards the zero line. And then we want it to give us a lovely sell opportunity for next week. Of course, this signal can only paint once it's hit the zero line and then gone below our 3 pip line. That's what the indicator is set to. So price needs to go up towards the zero line. This may or may not happen, but in order to get another sell opportunity, that's what has to happen in order for this indicator to give us a sell signal. And so there you are, price action analysis along with our MT4 non-repainting indicator review as well. If you found this content good, then please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, why not do so now? And in the meantime, take care in your trading, have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you very soon.